The if, elif, and else structure is used if there are multiple conditions and each of those conditions are connected to each other. They're not independent conditions. As you see here on the flow chart, we have the first if condition. If it is true, goes to a set of operations and then goes down to the rest of the code. So it jumps over all other lines to the end of the code. However, if the first condition is false, so we will go to the next condition. Now, because else statement doesn't take a condition statement, we need to add an elif. An elif is the shortened version of else if. So in other languages, actually there are else if. Python combined the word else if to elif. So elif is equivalent to else if. So else if the second condition is true, it goes to another set of operations, and then from there it goes to the rest of the code. Or if it is false, it goes to the next elif condition and so on. Of course, the number of elif conditions depends on how many conditions between the first if and the else. Also, the else statement is optional because sometimes even the last statement could be connected to some condition. So this is very flexible structure and depends on your algorithm. Let's check this example first on the idle shell. And the result is 1. Why? Because simply the second condition is true. That's why we added 1 to x and printed 1. If we change the value to 10, for example, and let's press enter twice, so we get the result 0.1. Why? Because the first condition returned true, so we executed the first print. Finally, let's try to use -10 and then enter twice, and you see the result is 10. Why? Because in this situation, the first two conditions returned false, so the first one is false, the second is false, so there's no any other option other than else. We can use this and the code above. The Python indentation is a very important property in Python because it is the only way when Python defines the blocks of operations or statements corresponding to conditionals or loops or any other type of statements which applies to group of statements. And the standard indentation in Python is 4 spaces by the spacebar. If you want to copy and paste a piece of code from a PDF file, a Word file, any file different than Python files, Python script file, sometimes the editor in these files like Word or PDF, they mess up with the correct distance or the correct indentation spaces. And when you copy the file into a Python file in order to execute it, then you can find error messages because of these changes. So for that reason, be careful. When you copy and paste any piece of code to a Python file, you need to check the indentations first. Sometimes you need to take them back to the first column, and then by the tab or by the space, you can move them to the right, to the correct positions. Now let's check this example in order to understand the importance of the indentation. Now let's cancel those lines and combine them in one print statement. Let's test this code first. Now you notice nothing printed. Why? Simply because the print y is inside the block of else, and for that reason it was not executed. So we need that the print operation be outside this structure, this way.